Hello, Devi underscore Duvie. And hello, Julius's Perfection, and hello, Nah. You were not first, not even on YouTube. And hello, Whistlewind Wolf, and hello, Sephiroth. Hello, Tron from the Future, and hello, Phydro, and hello, Melancholic. Hello, Hansy underscore EXE. It is in fact me, Mr. Gemothy Squid School, from popular YouTube channel Squid School. And hello, a dog with yellow. Hello, Muffin Fox Girl and Rad Cat. And also, Nah already said hi. They said hi twice, didn't they? Didn't they? Am I wrong? I'm wrong. Nah has only said hi once. The answer to my question was nah. They have not said hi yet. But now they have. Very cool of Restream to log me out of the service while using it. That was extra special of it. And I lost my whole chat replay there. Okay, well, I have Twitch pulled up, so I can say hi to to those folks at least. Hello to Skyyoshi726 and to Puges and Lotus Heart and Shelly Bean. Hello. I am doing quite well. And hello, It's just two A's. It's not that exciting. It's more of an or maybe double A. Chin scratch. Usually those are capitalized though. At some point can make a video about how to identify your win condition. That's a really big question. Because that ends up being a question of comp analysis, which is like the most complex aspect of the metagame. I would have to like train you on how to read team comps, which is not something that even I am particularly qualified to be authoritative about. It would be a very, very broad video if I were to make something like that. But hello, Pulpy Splash and Tokad. Hello. And hello, Randall. And hello, Fire Luna. I know, I do see you in Discord there. I'm just waiting to pull you up until I've said hi to everybody. And hello, Curious Tales. And hello, Abyss and Arzuru. And hi, Jamie. And hi, Kevin. And hello, Kiko Burb. Okay, let's get the gamers up here. We've got a gamer, we've got another gamer, and here's a third gamer. And now all of a sudden we've got a bunch of gamers. And all of these gamers are going to be receiving lessons today. And I'm stalling so they can't say things while I adjust their audio levels. Okay, now we're good. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So we've got Alex, Zora, Ari, and Fire Luna, and all three of them are going to have lessons today. You guys should have the pool information and the password all in your DMs already. So you should be able to hop... Oh, I created a lobby, and then it uncreated when the maps and modes updated. So we do have some new cats and some new dogs if we end up having to see those later. So... See if you have your particular furball in the mix now. I went and did a big cat downloading spree, which I think has produced some excellent results, as you will see. Okay, the lobby is now up.
There we go.
Yeah, the cat took the comfy chair. Here, I can probably get this to focus on him. So here's the chair I should be sitting in, but... Can't move him. He's gotta stay. Nothing you can do. No green screen? That would be because I am not at home. I am visiting my parents. Does it go this way? It goes this way. Okay. So we've got Alex, Zora, we've got Ari. Let me know if you need any help, Fire Luna.
It's not showing for me.
Gotcha. Are you in the pool?
Yeah. Summer school?
Let's see if... Don't read it out loud, please.
Oh, oops.
That is how we keep other people out
Right.
of joining it. But I've sent out a recruitment notification. So maybe it'll show up now.
Hopefully.
Any luck?
Yep.
Awesome. Imagine your parents walk in as if I'm doing anything objectionable. Rainmaker, Umami, and Sturgeon. Umami and Sturgeon, Rainmaker. Let's do this. Alrighty. Hope you have enjoyed the new cats. We may see them back. It depends.
They're very cute cats.
Yes, I agree. Ugh. I have got a blanket like quadruple folded under my butt, and this is still a very hard chair. Here we go.
Oh,
Quad big
no.
swig, alright.
Oh.
2 Vax and 2... What's the
Rain.
Rains, right.
Yep.
Okay, they didn't go for the pop really hard. Nice pick.
There's one
That's
pop
2
mid.
down. Striking in.
one's coming around the corner on the right.
We got one on the
Okay.
right. So everything's gonna be on the left now.
I'm gonna take it.
I'm gonna go down to
Okay.
1, but good dunk. Just stay safe for the time being. Watch out for specials. I'm almost there.
I have missiles.
Alright.
I'm watching them.
They're just
One's by the
running it.
Rainmaker.
I don't know
I'm
why.
gonna get.
Um,
I'm down.
Okay,
There's
that's
a-
2 down. One
Click on
behind
right,
us.
click on right.
Traded.
There's one on me. Am I this way?
2 on you. Nice,
One's
2 down.
down.
ah, nuts. I have the rain.
Still 2
They're
on
backing.
left.
Got the back. I already have missiles.
We're 2 down, be
I'm
careful.
gonna wait for the cluster. Whistling 4.
On my way.
The Rainmaker's isolated.
That's
Now
3
we're
down.
down.
Last one's top left. Bottom left now. They're backing. Just pop rain. Watch out for the shot.
One's coming down the ramp.
Okay, we got one with pop. I'm striking. I will pick up in a second. There's one below.
Up down mid.
Ignoring
Still,
that.
still mounts.
Still one on my left.
Got him.
Got one.
We don't need to worry about that right pit. They're kind of wasting their time in there. Let's just focus on what's in front of the Rainmaker when we're grabbing it. Got 2, one behind rain shield, or rain.
One top
Watch out
left. One
above.
top left.
Hit him twice. They're weak on right.
On me. Rain.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you
for
go.
dunk.
Go for points.
Oh, I'm down. Oh.
Oh,
Let's try to hold positions there. We're jumping back in.
I've got Kraken.
I have missiles.
Watch out for the rain.
I'm missing 4.
Oh, they should be dropping this.
They
did,
drop.
okay.
Yeah, they drop. Yeah.
They're going rail. Make sure we got someone in behind it.
Nice, I traded.
Good jump.
They're going for check.
Not right.
That's 2 down.
That one.
It's a third.
There's one behind top mid. Down one. Fine pedestal.
Okay, one in front. Got him.
Dead.
Move up in front of me.
One drops into the pit.
Just keep
Got
going
him.
forward.
Support you. Kraken.
Got another. Nice. One more on right.
They're
There we
down.
go. Good stuff. Janbon asks, "Yo, is that the RA from Splatsville Idol Group?"
Say yes.
We've got friends. Got friends in the chat. What should I
Yes.
focus on as a beginner in comp? The easy answer to that is what it is that will get you the fastest improvement. Oh, holy moly, we just got raided by dude. Hello, 264 new people.
Hi, dude.
What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. Oh, the chat is going to be unreadable for a minute here. Hi there, everybody. This is Squid Summer School. So for those who don't know the backstory here, normally on Tuesdays we do a stream where we'll get a couple of viewers on, and we will do matches with them for an hour, and then do a VOD review for each of them. So that's the official Squid School stream. But a while back, a member of the community, Agent 4, who is also a mod, donated enough to buy, on the Metafire rate, lessons for another 24 people. And we've been running those on Thursdays. So this is Squid Summer School, because that's about how long it's going to take to get through all of them. So we have 3 of those students in here, and that's who we're playing with today. So this is Fire, Luna, Ari, and Alex Zora. And so we're going to play for another half hour or so, and then we're going to start the VOD reviews.
Go on rain. Expose on the left side. One on top me. Oh, snipe. Spinner.
Heavy down. Spinner weak.
They're on spinner right now. I have
I'm
rain.
watching.
Nice. Just the
Down.
try.
I have
Do
missiles.
we know where they are?
One left.
Alright.
I think they're hiding.
mid. Yeah, they're on the left. They're right behind the corner. They're jetting.
One on snipe right now.
We're just going to let this reset. Heavy on right. Be careful.
Yep. So's the X-Flow. They're stamping. They threw it.
That's a couple of specials. Just be safe.
Prize on my out.
Got one.
They're going across on the left.
Someone got me from left. It's going up to spinner for some reason.
I have
A
missiles.
lot of time to do something else, but let's stop rain.
I'm missing 2. The rain's dropping down. One's
Nice.
behind
Try
us.
on top left.
I'm down. Coming from the right
Okay,
side.
got the shots.
Nice prize down. 4-2-2.
There's two on rain right now.
I'm being rushed.
In the court.
Oh boy.
Sword right here.
Got him.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna try and push into mid. Oh, one behind me.
Dead.
Try got me right.
And then
Rain's down. Or
explosive
waves
left.
down.
Okay.
So's the try.
We're 2 down. Be safe. Wait
Have
for us to
missile?
get back in, but we've got to start pushing into mid sometime here.
Sword starting left.
We can push once you respawn. I have missiles.
It's going left.
I'm watching. 2 are on
Ooh, I'm in
spinner.
trouble. I'm down. Still coming left.
Got
That's
one.
2 down,
Sword.
nice.
Rain.
3
Good
down.
stuff. Last is Explo.
Got him.
Okay, that's delayed wipe. We need to get up there and paint in front of it.
Painting on the right.
Heavy on the
I'm half
left.
to missiles.
3 on left, 3 on left. Nice, 2 down.
Nice, they're 2 down.
Try is down on left somewhere.
I have missiles. One's by the strikes.
Okay, Explo
Nice.
down. I don't know where try is.
Hit left. Hit
I
left. hit,
missiled the
behind,
other
hit.
one.
thought
That's
so.
why.
Top me now.
Got him.
Dead.
I've taken.
Okay, I'm gonna take it left because I don't think they're guarding that.
There's one coming from right side. Top mid now.
Okay, we got dunk.
Swords on mid.
Okay,
Heavy's down
I'm actually just gonna drop it and see if I can go for more points this way.
Swords behind you.
Yeah, I'd say that was worth. One on you, nice.
Swords in court still.
Okay, Inkcheck got me.
Okay.
There's a beacon up there though. 4 hours.
Swords on me.
Got rain, one more on me, got him.
Swords just sitting mid. On top mid. He's coming around. He's in their court
They're
now.
stamping.
Stamps
Nice.
canceled.
Be careful, Jim.
Heavy top right. They're coming into mid from left, be careful.
They drop down. They're coming
Try
back
in
up.
mid.
Oh. I got
2 on
the-
left.
Red.
That spinner.
Rain's down.
Got him.
Thank you. One more mid.
There's one top mid.
Two mid, actually. Got one. Ah, Heavy's gonna get me. I hit him twice. We don't have to do too much. 45 seconds. They just, like, need to get
Oh.
checking more. So, we've got some time.
I have missiles. I'm missing
Swords
2
in
mid.
pit. Left. Swords in left pit.
One's coming on the right and one's coming on the left.
I'm gonna die to rain here.
Okay,
One's
good
on
reset.
our right check.
I'm down.
Down.
Just
Three down.
you
Are
jump.
they going right? Okay, they're going right.
Yeah.
One's overspinning.
I can't stop it from here. Got one on right,
Rated
another one on
forward?
left. Nice. Just Heavy.
I'm gonna neutral it. I'm gonna neutral.
Yeah, just keep it neutral. Only got a few seconds. That'll be game. Whoa, did overtime almost trigger? What happened there? I heard
so.
the-
I think it's like maybe they could have kept
No idea.
it going if they tried, but the spinner was up.
They didn't
I don't
have
know.
the
That's
Rainmaker popped. I don't know why the sound effect played.
Yeah, it was weird.
Hi there, Krylee. And hi, Austin Simmons. I would like to do summer school. Be careful what you wish for there. What's the shortest ranged weapon? I think Sploosh. Am I wrong?
Carbon? Is carbon
I'm pretty
about
sure
the same?
Carbon Vertical goes further than Sploosh.
True. I didn't think about vertical.
Because, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
some
think it was
hitboxes that are, like, melee only, so, like, you could talk about the Wiper melee hitbox, if that's where we're going. But,
Getting rolled over by a splat roller.
Yeah. Where are the sign up? So, the Squid Summer School, like, all of those slots filled up and twice over, actually. So, unless someone were to, you know, donate more lessons, what we have for the Thursday streams are already locked in. But that still means we have content out for most of the summer still.
Pushing right. Gal.
They're
No.
gonna get popped.
Squeezer.
I'm watching left. Yeah, they're coming left. Ah, screwed up.
Squeeze
Got
right.
one. Another one
I
on
have
left.
missiles.
Swords in front of
I'm
rain.
missing
On
two.
top mid.
Sword's coming on me.
Good missiles. On two
They're
on left,
both
two on left on
right.
me.
They're on the left. Okay,
Still
they got
on
me.
left.
Nice, they're
Okay,
down.
careful, we're 2 down.
Sword.
Sword's looking for a pedestal.
Got one. I got 2. There's still one on the right. Stamper.
There's one on the left side.
One's on my out.
One.
They're
Yeah,
sharking.
Buckets on top.
Thank
Nice.
you.
I'm out of ink.
Bucket in behind me.
There's
Swords
still
on
left.
me.
Sword
They're
beat.
crazy
Got him.
king.
Try strike or try Zuka.
Try on top mid.
Up down now.
I have missiles. One's pushing on me. They're by our
Ju-
tech.
just grab it
Two
and
by our
go.
tech. Yeah, I don't. They're way back
Whoa,
here.
that was. Were they
One
there?
down.
Or was that laggy?
Oh.
Alright, they're gonna get popped. They might get dunked. Careful.
There's one mound right now.
Got him.
Okay, good stop. Good stop. One on me, on right. Oh, I missed. Two at the choke. It's just you.
Oh. I got one.
Just make
though.
sure they can't push us further in.
The crazy good.
Fine, Ray.
Got
Dead.
2 with pop.
Nice.
1 in front.
Oh, they can't. They can't me.
They're
They're sharking behind the block.
I'm gonna throw strikes and then just drop this down.
I have missiles. One's in the pit.
There's one pit, yeah. I'm trying to
One's
help
in the
you.
mid.
Got 1.
I'm missiling 3.
Sword down. 3 down,
That's
3 down.
3 down. Where's
Left
shot?
one, left side mid, left side mid.
That's freaking.
Up.
Kaizuka.
I'm down to Zuka.
Got the sword. One's by the wall.
You're alone there.
One on
They're going
top
up on the
mound.
mid. Kaizuka.
Zuka on left.
Rain down. One on my jump here.
They're on our grates, the squeezer over there. They're getting a pretty good angle from there.
We gotta jump on the ouch.
Careful not to let the Rainmaker pass, though. Yeah, Rainmaker's going to goal. Rainmaker's going to goal. We all dropped after the squeezer when the Rainmaker was at our door.
I might switch to VDS.
All right. Got some time. We'll be playing for about 20 more minutes. Pretty sure Luna is significantly longer ranged than like a sploosh. The indirect radius in particular is surprising. How far that goes. And hi, Ane. Some lemon water? That sounds nice.
Oh shoot, I did all the gear but I forgot to shoot.
Oops. Hello, this is my first day of Squid Summer School. Welcome, Cocoa Butter. Class, everyone say hi to Coco.
Okay.
Hi, Coco.
There's my dad. Hi, Boomco 12.
They're all going on the left.
Blaster on right. Blaster's pushing left. I hit him twice.
Wiper's down.
Got him.
Flash is on the
That's
right.
2 down.
Oh, I'm getting a lot of lag.
Wall point's still on spinner.
Got the splash there. I'm just... Oh, I did not grab. There we go. There you go.
One behind rain. Two
There's
behind
a
rain.
beacon on left. One our spinner, behind. Nice. Oh, they grabbed. Got him. Watch out for wave.
I have missiles.
I'm gonna chill here and wait for this to maybe reset. They are
Blaster's
pushing for
looking
it.
Got the sword. Shooted.
Traded 2v2. They might grab. Okay, good.
Hope it reset.
Wait. I'm gonna jump into right on that beacon and see if I can sneak up on someone. They might get pop here. Yeah, they get pop here.
I have missiles.
Rain is
Waiting
down.
for their missiles.
That's a jet.
Oh, shoot. I was gonna camp the jet and my feet got stuck.
I'm missiling 3. They're on the left.
Alright, I'm going in on left.
Sword's going towards me.
Blaster
Got
weak.
him.
Didn't get him. They're gonna grab.
They're
Careful
going
your
on
last.
the left.
Rain down, rain down.
Good
Nice.
stop.
They have a jump though. They have a jump.
Okay, we're gonna have multiple of them on left. I'm almost at strikes.
Rain's down.
There's a jump in mid I should be able to get. Got the jump. That's 2 down.
3.
There's still someone painting it on left. So watch out for them.
They're underneath me. In our court.
I got. It's the. Okay, got him. It was the
Oh,
black
well,
one.
that didn't work.
I've taken.
I'm supposed to be able to do that.
I have missiles. I'm gonna missile all 3 or 4. One's going on the right.
Yeah,
ball
I'm
point.
watching that. There's 2.
On rain, one down.
I'm going after Rainmaker.
Yeah, Rain's alone.
Rain's down.
Nice.
One on right. Got him.
Nice, they're down.
Pink jet's going for rain.
Okay.
Sword down.
There's one on the block left side.
Try taking it right.
Yeah, there's 2 there.
I can't. I almost have. Okay, I will.
Watch out for the missiles on
Coming
the
back.
landing. Got one.
Grab's watching me.
Blaster.
All points down.
I have missiles.
Down in left pit. Rain.
Yeah. The rain's in the pit.
Oh, I
I'm
only need
missiling
one.
all 4 of them.
Nice, you got him. 2v3.
There's one in left pit now.
The blaster's weak. They're in the pit still.
They're
They're
gonna get
picking
lead.
up.
Oh, they didn't get lead?
Rain's down.
I don't think they
Wow.
realized how close they were.
One behind Rain. Nice, you got him. 3 down. Where's last? They're jumping into right. They're jumping into right.
Let's take this left side.
Get it out.
I have missiles.
One's coming out from
One's
Blaster
on
top
the
left.
right.
down
Missiling
to
the 2 on the
blaster.
left. They
Crab.
Grabbed on the right. Got one.
Alright, make sure we're between Rainmaker and goal. 45 seconds. We kind of need to keep this lead.
They put down Rainmaker or Wavebreaker.
Got 2. Just
It's just a splash.
Splash is on me. They're jumping into mid.
Like right top. Got one.
They have crab.
Oh, that's a lot of people. Got 2.
Got
That's
one.
3. And I got the jump.
Okay.
Alright, let's get this dunk at least.
Let's go.
Okay.
There we go.
That did not feel comfy at all.
It did not.
Right then, Kelsey.
Are 2v2s good for anything but mechanical improvement? Kinda. Cause like you're at least working on how you. A lot of fights end up being 2v2s because if you're spreading your team out in a reasonable way, you're probably not going to be fighting with that many more than one other person, at least for the first few seconds. So it's definitely better than 1v1s, I would say. And there are actually tournaments where they run 2v2s, so that can be fun. Are you willing or planning on discussing the use of abilities on weapons that heavily rely on them? I tend not to weigh in on gear builds pretty much at all, because sendu.inc/builds is a better resource for that than I can be. It's really a better resource even than a top player can be, because the top player is only really going to be an expert on the weapons they play. So I would definitely go there, and then you can get a plurality of opinions from people who are actually experts on specifically those weapons. Was there a question earlier? Uh-huh. I thought someone was trying to ask me something in the VC. Didn't want to cut him off?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Down. Range is... There's two on the side mid and top mid.
I have missiles.
Tetra's on right.
Missiling 4.
Got one. That's
Nice,
3.
I got
Last one mid. I don't know why I popped this. This is a waste. Let's get the pop.
You got
I'll
it.
grab.
I can. Okay, cool.
Where's Charger? They're top right. They're top right. Just pressure them real quick so that I don't get sniped. I got blasted, actually. Get out of there if you can. You're last. Hey, if it's like last game, that's a winning push, right?
Stops on me.
One greats.
They're all grouped up.
Trigger's on top right.
Blaster's
court.
snipe.
There's one on right mid. Top mid.
We're 2 down, back up.
Man.
I bumped the
They're going on the
controller
right.
against the table. Oh, I hit him twice. Oh, we got him, we got him. It was delayed, but we got him.
One on top snipe. Dead.
Half the missile.
There's a jump on the snipe on the right. Charger.
Alright. We're 2 down, but it reset.
One's sharking in mid.
I'm watching left.
They're
Got
backing.
1, got 2.
On spinner. In a court. Okay, nice.
Okay, good stop. Blaster on left with wave.
I have missiles.
Blaster's out.
Blaster's down.
Nice.
I'll get it out of here.
I'm watching them. 2 are on the right. Missiling 4.
Two top spinner. Or, no. Mid.
Peppers are in right pit.
Charger from great.
Actually, it's the Zenzap. I got him though.
Peppers are down.
Charger's on snipe.
I have
Blaster
faith in
2.
this one up there.
Oh, Skypier's down. Charger's retreating. They're taking up spot on the right.
Did we
Back
get it?
down.
No, we didn't. We got another point.
Blaster's in mid. They
Nice
traded.
trade.
Zap's on the right.
Traded them, but they had cooler, so it's not worth. Tetra's on right as well with cooler. They're taking it left, focus left. Good stop.
Two right. Two on right.
Got
One up on me.
one. Got the. Oh no, the other one is still there.
I'm working on pop.
They went for picks instead.
put down cooler.
See if we can drop it left. Or get him. Just watch the flank.
Coming.
There we go.
There's one on top snipe.
I have missiles. Oh, died. They're reflighting in.
Yeah.
Blaster
See if we
on
can get
left
pop.
side. One behind Reigns. They jumped in.
I have missiles.
Got 2.
Nice.
It's 1v1.
I see their jump at top mid.
They're coming down right side.
They're on spinner.
They're going on spinner.
Drop down. They're
They're
in
in Fight
Fight
Club.
Club.
Yeah, that's a
Watch
stalling
it.
spot, so we
Watch-
do have to push
watch
them out of there.
Blaster's down.
Got Rain.
I have missiles.
Charger down. Just dualies. Where's dualies? Dualies top
Top
spinner.
spinner.
Dualies on
Spinner
top.
mid.
Yep.
Snipe.
Yeah. He's striking us in. We gotta go.
I'll pick up.
Watch out, snipe, snipe, snipe. Hit him twice. Got him. Good dunk. Okay, we need to grab it and get somewhere.
Charger down. Charger down.
Jumping it back. Nice.
Yes, we got it. I died the instant I picked it up, so I wasn't sure. Whew.
Charger didn't have the awareness like in that video today. I shot like 3 shots with the VDS. You didn't even see me.
They wouldn't see a suction bomb.
Okay. We'll go for one more, and then we'll get started with our VOD reviews here.
Alright. I just realized we had double beacon comp. Whatever.
Why is there a monkey emote attached to that? Is that... Does Nightbot just have all of the emotes in monkey form?
Depends on the person. I think they could have like their setup for that.
Walls have missiles.
Got 2. Got... the
Have
last
missiles?
one's
on right.
weak.
VJ
It's
or
just one of them.
VJ.
Super weak on right. We can just pick up and go left. Oh, we're 2 down.
They're stamping. They got me.
Underneath top mid.
Got the sploosh. That's 3 down. Just watch out for the jet.
Jet.
Right there.
That's 1. Top right, great. They drop down. Nice.
Sploosh down. I'm down to something. To my ouch. We don't need to worry about bottom right.
Jet
We need to
close
worry
to go.
about where Rainmaker's got to go. If they drop bottom right, they're just letting us move forward.
They're stamping.
Stamper weak. Oh. I keep underestimating the radius. I'm still used to old stamp.
Yeah. Got the sploosh.
They're gonna
All
jump in.
Fugos are on it. There's 3 on range.
Okay, I have
Died for
missiles.
that.
Missling 2.
That's scary.
Yeah.
One's behind.
Yep. There were 3 in front of it. We need
One.
to clear that first.
Top.
Alright, good stop, good stop. That's fine. We've already got checks, so it's not gonna be the hardest thing to get over there.
1 behind on the beacon.
Got
We're
him.
3 down. Get in between it and goal if you can. They're picking up and going.
Got it.
Down.
They're booyahing.
Got 2. Just jet. They're jumping into it.
Got it. I have missiles. You can go forward.
Got any information from missiles?
One's on the dome. One's on the right or the left. They're in front of the little blocks.
I've taken.
2 on the right. They're going on to top mid.
2 on left. Got 1. I'm down. Booyah coming from left.
Rain's weak.
Sploosh on me. Got him. Traded. 2v2. The other one's right with Rainmaker. Get some paint up around our sides that we can start moving forward.
I have missiles. I'm gonna missile all 4. One's dropping into the pit.
Yeah, don't worry too much about them.
They're
Just know
all
that they're
backing
there.
up.
It's back mid.
They're all on the left.
Sploosh weak on left. Ari's in on a flank. Go in with it. Go in with it.
I distracted them for a while. They're going on to top mid.
Probably gonna get pop here. Close to strikes.
I almost have missiles. I have missiles.
Striking left side.
I'm missiling the stamp as well. They got me though.
Pick up. Pick up. I'm gonna get booyah'd here. Alright, I'm
Forge
pushed
is on
really
the
far
right
back.
mid.
I'm gonna need help to get forward here. They're gonna booyah again.
I got 1.
Here, I'm back.
Nice.
Traded.
Another one behind.
Blue guys are in front.
Yeah, that'll be game.
Yeah.
Alrighty. There was someone who... Was it Ari that needed to go last? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But I actually don't need to go last anymore. So
Okay.
You can do us in whatever order you want.
Sounds good. I have Fire Luna's pulled up, so we'll start with that one, I guess.
Alright.
There. Alright, GG's, everybody.
Yeah, GG's.
GG's.
So here's this that we are going to project here.
Jim, I need to switch devices if I want to watch the VOD with a bigger screen, so could you add me to the call again?
Sure. Hopefully there's not a big hole in it, because I've got Discord open over the top of it right now. Okay, so it's going to be... Okay, 6H9U49RG. And then we go and we grab... No, they're not back yet. Okay. And are you guys able to see okay in Discord?
Yep.
It's screen sharing to there now. Is there a way for me to get my VOD reviewed? I do weekly streams on Tuesdays where I do 2 VOD reviews each week for free. There's a waiting list for those, and it's backed up till late August at this point, but that's free. And then I also have Medify, where I teach private lessons, and that is not free, but it is much faster to get a lesson for. So both of those. So if you're trying to get a Tuesday lesson, go to the Discord, which is now in the chat. That link will bring you to a place where it'll show the Discord and the Medify in the same place. Go to the Discord and DM me from there. And then if you're looking for a private lesson, that is Medify, is the name of the website that goes through. So, all right. Okay, so this is for Fire Luna, and they are on the Kraken roller, not the Carbon roller. And was this team thing? Was this solo queue?
This is solo queue, but Axel there on the T-Tech has played with me before.
Okay.
Or the NZEP, rather.
The NZEP, yeah.
He knows the way I work.
What were you like coordinating with each other, or was this just like you happened to run into each other?
I was playing on stream last night.
Okay. Gotcha. So you weren't able to communicate with them, though?
No.
Okay. So we've got Jet Squelcher. This. So I think a challenge for your team here is not so much that you don't have a lot of paint, but that you don't have a way to like paint forward very much. What I mean by that is like a brush, for example, is one of the higher painting weapons in the game if you're just looking at special output. Like the permanent ink brush was the fastest armor in Splatoon 2 because it just spam paints around it in a circle, and that's a huge chunk of the special meter. But that paint isn't going very far away from it. And what helps to be able to push is to have a weapon with a decent time to kill that can also put that paint up ahead of the team so that the team can like move forward into the space it's shooting at. And that's what we don't have a lot of here. Like, you have plenty of slaying power in the roller. You know, that by itself is already pretty scary. And you've got, you know, the super chumps to set it up. You've got the, you know, brush being able to shark, and the jet can provide cover fire if anyone's chipped. But, like, the question is, how do the roller and the brush get in? Like, what paints enough that they're going to be able to move up into aggressive positions and be able to play with them? Because the Zap is not the fastest killing weapon in the game, and it doesn't have, you know, the best bomb for combat. It has to be relatively careful and supportive. The jet has to be even more careful and supportive. So when you're trying to get into a roller position, there might not be a lot of paint on the ground, and that might be a challenge just that's presented from the team comp here. You're also up against a couple of weapons that are very, very, very fast at splatting. The Dapples and the Sploosh, to be precise. The way that you beat weapons like that is the same way that you beat rollers, which is that you paint so that you can see them coming and you can hit them before they're close to hit you. And that's going to be a little bit challenging because the roller and the brush are both going to not have the easiest time with spotting those coming. They might shark you. Now, you do still have a pretty fast time to kill, so it's going to be competitive between you guys. I don't actually know who off the top of my head wins the 1v1s there, but the risk here is that they might catch like your supports as they're trying to paint for you and splat them. And you also have to be careful about the dynamo, because the dynamo doesn't necessarily have to see you. It could just like hit in your general direction and all of a sudden you get hit by the dynamo. So I think the most difficult part here is going to be navigating the map for you and figuring out how to get in. But we'll see what you can pull off. And the beacons might help you get into some places you wouldn't otherwise normally be able to. What would be a good high forward painting weapon? Literally any short-range shooter. A wiper is really good for that because it puts down a single shot and that paints a whole line all the way forward for it. Stamper's also pretty good at that. What else? Tetras don't need to care as much about painting forward because they can just roll into enemy ink. So those are like the most common answers that you're going to see in the metagame right now. Sloshers are pretty good too because they just put out one slosh and then they've got a really big line, similar to how the wipers work, but they have to play a lot more conservatively with space because of how low their fire rate is. Okay, so we're getting a beacon out there. So somebody's already fallen off the ledge, which means we have a numbers advantage, which means if they're not running away, then we probably have a numbers advantage on them. So definitely a time for us to be forcing. Now here, I would definitely not expose myself around this corner. What we have done here is with this... that went back really far. With this horizontal right here, you see how the paint went around the corner there?
Yeah.
What that just told the enemy team is there is specifically a roller that is about to come around this corner in like a second and a half. From their perspective, like, let's actually look from their perspective at what that looks like. And let me figure out who it is that's around the corner there. Okay, well, we'll just look from, like, the dualie's perspective here. So that should be here. Oh. And we're a little bit too far, but hopefully they're looking in the correct direction here. No, they're not. We'll look at the dynamo, because they're responding to this the quickest. Okay, take 3. Third time's the charm, you know? So you see that splash of purple ink right there?
Yep.
As the player who's here, think about how that splash of purple ink is going to make you respond. That's like a warning that something's coming. And you'll see that as soon as that happens, the dynamo gets a flick ready to go. So you do end up actually getting one, but ultimately that flick is what gives you away. You always want to be really careful. What? That's not you, is it? No, that's not you. You always want to be really careful about putting ink around corners like that, especially when you know someone's over there, because that's just giving them more information than you need to. I did a video on denying your opponent's information really recently, so if you want more thoughts on that, that video is available. Okay, so good job. We go in.
After I played this match.
Oh, you watched it after this match? I gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly the sort of thing that you want to be careful about with that. So I like that earlier on you helped your team when someone was up there, and you were able to get the assist on that. And now you're swimming over here to the left side where the rest of your team isn't to see if anyone wanders into your range. Now, if you're going to go this way, you want to get as close to the enemy team as you possibly can before you're spotted. So a good idea might have been to like shark through the ink on the far left-hand side as far as you could go. And if there was nobody to see the little ripple as you crossed, because there were some slight little bits of orange you would have had to pass through. But if there's nobody around to see those little ripples, then you're probably still fine. So, like, you can see there's kind of a path where you're zigzagging left and then right and then left. And then there's a little bit of orange you would probably have to cross to get around the backside of mid. But that's worth it if nobody's looking at you or if you can jump across it real quick. But right now we're really far back is the thing. Like, see up where our teammate is, up by their tacticooler? That's really where the battle lines are. That's where a fight is going to break out if a fight breaks out. And sure, you've got an opponent over here on the right, and that might be worth paying attention to, but right now you're just too far away from where the action is happening to have an impact on it. And that is risky, because what can happen is if you're not up there to help and something does happen, then your teammates, you know, they might look at the top of the screen and be like, oh, well, it's a 4v2 right now. We should be pushing up and, you know, taking advantage, which is correct. But if they're alone, then it might actually be a 1v2 because the rest of their teammates aren't there with them. So here I would definitely, like, I was talking about swimming up on the left-hand side earlier for this reason, that you're so far back at this point that you're not really having an impact on the match anymore. And we definitely want to get in there and start doing things. And we especially want to do that in ways that don't give us away, because right now we're flicking the roller a lot. This is going to give our positions away to anyone who was on the right there. So definitely, like, take advantage of the ninja squid that I presume you are wearing.
Yes.
Yes, good. Take advantage of that ninja squid and get up in close distance with people before you flick. And that way you're actually going to be in range to hit someone, and you're not going to give your position away and make it so that they paint looking for you. That was a big mistake on their part, because you had already exposed yourself on that side. Like, they should know that this is something they need to worry about. Good job taking an angle that they weren't likely to be shooting at, although they didn't actually end up shooting at anything. They were just looking at top mid instead. So a little bit of an object permanence problem there on their part. So we know that there's 2 over here on this side. I would not dive off the side, because best case scenario there, if they pay attention to you, is that you trade 1 for 1. I think there, if you run around the left side of mid, you can just cut them off from retreating. Like, where do they have to go at that point? It's either closer to your base or closer to you. And then you can, like, use the wall for cover and stuff. If you dive in here, there are 2 potential problems. Number 1, you're dropping off a legend to enemy ink, which I've done a video about a long time ago, but that is a thing where as soon as someone drops off a legend to enemy ink, the vast majority of the time they are going to be splatted within the next 5 seconds. It's very, very reliable, because you're putting yourself in a place where you don't have any escape routes, and you're very visible, and the opponents could be sharking you. Here, because we dropped down, it's hard for us to move forward. We didn't paint any for ourselves at all before we dropped off this ledge. And so what could happen here is the opponents could just kite us. They could back up out of our range, hit shots while we're out of range, and keep us from actually getting any damage here. Which is exactly what happens. So the dropping off a legend to enemy ink rule, there is its outcome the vast, vast majority of the time. So we do, get their attention for long enough that our team scores on the left-hand side, which I guess is something. But we definitely get more slaying power by sharking around. You can see the block towards the upper right. You can use that block. You can use mid. But you want to use those pieces of cover and shark around those so that as they try to retreat, they run into you. And then they're not ready for you. Then they don't have time to back up. And you have space behind you in case you need to retreat. Okay, so we're going to get like 2 more clams, and then everyone's going to die, and it's going to reset. So we didn't have a lot of players up at that time. Good shark. When you see an opponent turning their back, this is a body language thing like I was talking about in the video today. Let's back up for just a second. So you see that the opponent is shooting behind them and starting to look that way. That's a pretty clear sign that they're not intending on moving forward toward you, that they're actually going to be moving backward away from you. And given that, they're going to be out of range by the time you flick at them. So probably would have been better to keep chasing through that ink on the left to get a little closer to them first, wait for them to stop and let you catch up, and then go for it. Did you put the beacon down thinking like it was a bomb or something?
Yeah, I was playing V-Splat just before this, so I was throwing my curling bomb.
Makes sense. All right. Well, we got 2. This was just a straight up 1v3 that you're able to win there. I think the dynamo got shot blocked by its own cooler. So it looks like it fired a couple of flicks and they just didn't do anything. And now you've got this Dapples that are just here getting baited by the beacon. The dynamo really should have been able to stop this quite a bit earlier than they did, but I don't know what was happening there. Maybe they just hit the tacticooler and it blocked their whole shot. But good job catching the 2 players that were unaware. This is a really risky trade because they have Tacticooler. So even if you trade 1-for-1 with them, that goes well in their favor because they respawn a lot faster than you do. So that's an advantage for them. So you want to at least get 2 of them for going down. That's still not completely worth it, but at least it's better than the 1-for-1. Fighting people with Tacticooler is really kind of rough. I would have popped Special a little while ago at this point. As soon as you get those 2 and you've got like your teammate coming up off, so right about here, there are only 2 players in play. There's the Dynamo, whose location you know, and then there's the Sploosh. We don't know exactly where the Sploosh is, but they're off to the right somewhere. At this point, we're too far past the Sploosh to be able to stop it. We would have to super jump back and we'd still be giving up that space. So if we're gonna go for a play that's forward, which they did pop the... No, they didn't pop the hammer. I don't like that nobody's picking up the Sploosh right now. There should really be someone looking at that. What's going on over there? They get one, and then Momo just kind of jumps in. Oh, but they pop the hammer. Oh, that's actually such a mistake on their part. Popping the hammer means that they can't throw the clam. So we still have time to stop them. Let's go down to your play, though. Let's just assume that that's not going on and that's not something that we have to worry about, because that really is something that the team needs to attend to at some point here, is the fact that somebody's slipped in behind you and has a power clam, because that could just undo your whole push idea. But let's get to here. If you're going to push the basket from here, you get your special right there, and you've got a power clam right around the corner. And that power clam holder just starts running towards the basket here and announcing themselves by firing shots around the corner. So now everybody knows that they're on their way, and they can see that anyway because they can see the anchor icon. This player's gonna die unless they have some backup. And you can bring that backup not in the form of your main weapon, because you step around that corner, you're also going to just go down to the same dynamo flick, but you have a special that makes you not die. And I would use that and try to use that to not die here. It's a little bit late at this point because we lost our teammate there, and there's just too many players here for us to reasonably be able to get rid of before that power clam dies. We're not going to get it in safely. They end up getting the power clam in behind us anyway, so it's not like that matters a ton, but we wanted you to be like the wall in front of your teammate so that they got baited into the Kraken by going after your power clam. That's kind of the play that you want to orchestrate there. And the Kraken also, I was talking earlier about your ability to paint forward, and looking at that engagement there, like, your ability to paint forward was the big reason that you weren't able to get anything done with the main weapon. Like, let's look at how this looks. After we... Okay, so we get these... I'm trying to get a better timestamp because I keep going back way too far. 305, 304... Okay. So, like, from here... 303. One thing I will say is if you're trying to paint for movement, vertical flick goes way further than the horizontal, and... just, like, the horizontals there are not going to get you far enough in. But... and that's something that I've seen you do a couple of times, is use the horizontal instead. But you just, like, can't really push into that paint very easily. If I'm running a shooter, and I'll step out for just a second to kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about. So, I'm trying to come around this corner. Now, if I'm a shooter, I can, like, paint this whole thing right here, and now I can go wherever I want. And as soon as I want to move further forward, I get a really good line by just doing this sort of thing. And if I'm painting like this and shooting at someone, that also means I'm painting a line for myself. So it's doing double duty. So there are a lot of advantages to the extra range and fire rate that you're getting from like a shooter style weapon in comparison to, you know, if I'm just trying to do this and that's the paint that I've got, like, how do I get into range to this guy over here if he's shooting at me? Like, I get into his range before, I get into his range before he's in mine. And, like, this amount of paint right here, I'm still not hitting him. And I'm painting, but he's painting over it, so then I'm getting stuck, and I'm still not hitting him. That's the sort of thing that happens with the shorter range weapons, especially with lower fire rates. And that's why the rollers need to shark so hard. It's that they're not really an effective combat weapon until they get close to you. Like, even there I didn't one-shot. Granted, this is the carbon, which is different, but... you're effective when you're right on top of them, and you don't have the tools to get close to them quickly. So your job is to find ways to not make them know that you're there, and so, like, you know, if I start, you know, swinging like this, and then start swimming forward towards this guy and do this, they're going to see that coming. Whereas, if I notice, oh, hey, there's this little line over here that I can use, and then we sneak in here, you're probably going to have their back turned when you swing at them there. Because you just gave them no information. You didn't give them that telltale sign of the ink being around the corner there. It does appear that the replay's been dropping frames a little bit. Not a ton that I can do about that, unfortunately, and I do apologize to the stream audience.
It does make sense, though, why I'm more consistent on the B-splat, because I have the curling bomb.
Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a lot you can do with the Kraken Roller. Just, you need to use more of the ink that's on the ground and do less to put it down yourself. You need to rely more on your team to get that paint down for you and use what's already there, so that you're not giving yourself away every time. It's like this right here, that flick is not in range to hit anybody. It's immediately going to get covered up, and you won't have been able to swim forward that far. You're probably just going to go down here for trying to push this. This is more of a 52 gal kind of play. You put a wall down in front of you, and then you start taking shots. Like, this is more of a, you know, duck around the right side wall and try to get the sploosh first kind of play, instead of taking on 3 at once. You can't hold this choke point by yourself against this many players. You trade for 2, and that's more than they should be letting you have, to be frank. Like, that's a situation where you should be, like, getting lasered down before you can get close to anybody. You need to make this jump quick if you're going to make it. Okay, good. Oh, that lands you there. That's annoying.
Oh yeah, I put that beacon there.
Oh, did you jump to the beacon instead of the player?
Yeah.
Did you mean to?
No.
Makes sense, makes sense.
I meant to come into the player and just chuck as soon as I
Right,
landed.
yeah. That's what I would advise you do if you're going to pick it up. Unfortunate that you lose it there, but you already scored as a team to 22. This is a winning push for sure. Good job dodging that bomb. And here, again, your weapon is not here to paint the map for your team or anybody. Like, you've got all this purple ink around you, and instead of using it to sneak in, what you're doing is just putting out a big neon sign like, "Hi, enemy, I am right here. Worry about me." Like, you could be up on the far left already, hitting over the left-hand side at this player who's in mid. You could be sharking up right against that wall and attacking the players who are coming around on the right. You've got a lot of options here that they should be worried about, and you can get there safely using the Ninja Squid without causing too much of a fuss or anything. It's relatively hard for them to see. But because they can just see you, they're going to throw things at you. I would also be very careful about clams. If you pick up clams, that's visible to the enemy team. And over time, they're going to start learning to spot those and be scared of those.
Like
that you actually could have hit. You were just aiming too far down at the ground. Make sure to just be keeping your aim at eye level, because like you do hit them if you aim far enough out that you get max range. Very scary to drop down from the ledge there. Dropping down from the ledge makes you relatively visible compared to swimming in the ink, because they can like see you against the backdrop of the wall. And also, it makes it so that you have a short amount of time before you're going to be able to move left or right to dodge it. So what they should have been doing there was throwing the hammer at you as you dropped off the ledge. They didn't do that. I guess they accidentally hit the goal or something, or maybe they were just trying to get their clan thrown in. But they definitely should have just splatted you for that. Nice pick. Yep, use that for cover, and then come in from behind. And again, vertical flicks, you would only need one vertical flick to go the same distance as these two horizontal flicks get you. From here, like, you know they have to be nearby, so just flick over the ledge in a way that the ink drops down on that spot. Like, you only tried once. Like, get all of the orange ink around there to make sure that it's safe to drop. That is way too far away for that. They definitely could have got there. So let's back up for a second. The general rule in Clam Blitz or Rainmaker is you always, 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 always have someone in between the objective player and the goal. And usually, if your teammates aren't doing that, you make sure it's you. This, again, like, we've got a lot of space out in front that we could be pushing up into, and the hesitation here is making it so that the enemy team just gets to push into mid for free without having to worry about us. And notice how when we do come out, now we're on top of all of our teammates. That's because we've given up all of mid by not moving into it when we had advantage. So now the only way we can get out into it is through this tiny little choke point. So all of our teammates are now here, which means that we're all in the same spot being threatened by the same bombs, and we don't have a lot of paint to work with. But here, we can see that there is an anchor icon there. We can see that there's that power clam. And we can't just move forward and let it run by and get to our basket here. Like, this is something we can absolutely stop, but we don't stop it by going around the left side of this box. We need to, like, maybe shark behind the box and hit them as they're going by us or something. The Kraken shouldn't have been able to stop them. It did, but that didn't need to work. They definitely could have prevented that. Again, using the horizontal flicks instead of verticals. Verticals will put more paint down in general, as well as give you more of a distance forward. If you're using the horizontal flick, it's generally for the hitbox, for it being wider, not for movement. So you do get this one here. Nice. Yeah, that is a perfectly reasonable trade to take. Even though they have the Tacticooler, you're stopping them from picking up that power clam, and now there's hopefully nobody else nearby who's going to be able to get in there before your teammates are in position. So good stuff. Yeah, we just need to stop this from happening, and if we succeed in doing that, then there's no shot. And here, we definitely need to be doing vertical flicks because they're going to be out of range. Any shooter player that sees you and really knows what they're doing is going to back up while they're fighting you if they possibly can. And if they back up far enough, they're going to get out of range of your horizontal. So at a certain point, you need to start relying on the vertical instead. Oh, and they didn't get there in time. Oh, man. That was unfortunate for them. They still would have had a hard fight getting the lead, but... Ooh, okay, that was a lot of damage to take there. I'm scared. They definitely would have had a lot of work to get the lead, but it was made a lot more difficult by the fact that you were able to get that to pop just before they were able to pick it up. And you can see that there's a jump behind the block there that's going to try and pick this up, so you need to be sprinting out there to get rid of this player so nobody else jumps in. It's fine that that goes in as long as we still stop them from winning. I like that you're taking this angle. This angle is great, because they're having to funnel towards your teammate Momo, right? They're going to be looking at Momo. So you get to come from the side and hit them while they're not looking at you. That is smart. Nice. Okay. Good stuff, good stuff. So, big thing here, I would say, is to reconsider your use of which flick you're going for, and reconsider your movement for how you're approaching fights and approaching, you know, movement forward on the map. Let me pull out an actual version of that roller. There we go. So, if you're trying to go fast, you're doing this. You see how long that was?
Yeah.
Compare that to this. And mind you, like, you're having to aim a little bit further down to actually paint your feet. So like this versus this. It's no contest. Like, you definitely want to be going for this when you're trying to move. And even though it's a little skinnier, you know, 3 of those versus 3 of these, it's getting you more bang for your buck in most places, because, like, this map's too skinny for that much width to matter on the map anyway. So this is your kind of painting tool. This is your poking tool. That is, somebody is out of range for you to get on top of, but you're able to kind of do this sort of damage to make them move. And this is also what's going to set you up so that, you know, you put that out there earlier and they don't challenge it, and then you just kind of... Oh, surprise! And that's how you want to be approaching fights. You want to be hitting them with this sort of thing, where you do like the jumping jumping horizontals. That's, you press ZR and then you jump,
And then
so that you jump while you're flicking like this. I'm seeing a lot of like standing still horizontals, which is going to make it so that you can't move as quickly. This gives you a little bit of an added boost in range, because when you do this, you're going to clear some of the distance toward them. It's like, I started that from, like, what, here? Because this is where I jumped from. So, like, here's what happens if I horizontal from here. I miss completely. Here's what happens if I jumping horizontal. So, because I'm clearing some of the distance as the flick is coming out, I'm going to get significantly more reach with that and do significantly more damage. So that's something that I want to see you implementing. When you're, you know, at a certain range, you switch to the verticals, because you know that your horizontal isn't going to reach. And then to try and get your horizontal into position, take your time and, like, line the shot up, because they don't know where you are yet. Take all of the time that you need before they figure out where you are, instead of approaching this player by going like, and then doing this. Because then they have all the time in the world to react to that, and that's when that becomes dangerous for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I already know that my playstyle is to get in the enemy walls and cause them problems, but getting in the enemy walls isn't the same as it used to be with Krakon in S1 when I started playing it. You could jump as the Kraken to the Squid beacons. Can't do that anymore. Is there a weapon or a couple of weapons that have, like, transferable skills? Because I've been playing Roller for 8 years, so I don't want to swap to something completely different. But is there anything with transferable skills that might be easier to pick up?
I don't think you're gonna get that same ability to just beacon jump and be fine when you get in.
I just want to be able to get in their walls.
And I think what you're trying to do isn't so much find like a weapon with a different playstyle, it's to work on your movement so that you're getting that from the paint that you already have on the ground. Because, like, I pointed out a lot of positions where you're making yourself really visible. I don't think there's a weapon in the game that's going to be able to play that visibly and still get in their walls. Like, the closest you're going to be talking about there is, like, maybe like a 52 gal by using the splash wall and playing on either side of it. But that's a very temporary advantage state. Maybe like Tetris if you're just trying to dive them. But, like, what you need to make this work is stealth. And that's what's really making it hard for you in the match that we just watched, is that you're so visible as you come in that they're going to stop you before you get there. Whereas if you sneak in there a little bit more and do things just a little bit more quietly, then that lets you get into a position where they have their backs turned and they don't even know that there's something to be worried about there. And then you get like a multi-kill, and from there you set up beacons for your team to jump in. You can crack in once you get a pick so that the other players aren't able to trade you back. So like, these two players are facing away from you. Womp one of them, pop Kraken. The other one doesn't have time to react to the fact that you're there before you have the Kraken, and you can use that to back away. It's very similar to the Kraken roller from Splatoon 2, actually, with the way that it played off its bowler. If you're interested in what's being played in the meta right now, you're probably looking at a Carbon Deco, because it has a faster kill time, and the Zuka lets it attack people from longer range if it doesn't have an easy opening to sneak in right that second. And so that's why players are using that as much as they are right now. And you can watch Volti for that. I would watch Volti in general, because Volti is a really good model for how to position and how to like aim the roller flicks, and which ones to choose. But obviously it's going to look a little different from the Splat roller.
Yeah, because Carbon's a little faster and it has a poke tool.
Mm-hmm.
In burst bomb.
Exactly. Anything else?
Yeah, it's not super specific to like this match exactly, but this one was fairly late in the day, and I know I put a beacon instead of a bomb. And I know that it's because I was playing for too long that day. Do you have any sort of suggestions or tips on how to, I guess, develop the mental fortitude to not do that after a long day?
I mean, it's a common mistake. Focus is something that takes stamina. Like, like physical stamina. Like being in shape actually helps you with this. So that's one thing, I guess. I mean, if you going for a run is actually a very good thing for like helping you play the game better. But things like getting enough sleep, things like eating, are all really good for that. I mean, some people will swear by coffee. I personally feel like that's just prolonging the crash. I'm not a huge fan of stimulants in general as a lifestyle choice. But I'm definitely, that's not the most popular of opinions. But like at a certain point, like your body will start missing things because that's just kind of the state that it's in. And so rest, food, sleep, and being in a, relatively positive, relaxed state of mind all help.
I play sports anyway, and usually I have Aquafit right before stream, so that works
Gotcha.
out.
Awesome. I mean, so I will say, like, right after a workout, like, if I've really had a hard workout that day, I want to give it a good hour and a half or something so that my body can recover, because I definitely don't play well. My hands are shakier. You don't want to, like, just pop into the shower, jump right on stream. Like, get some food, sit down, rest your legs, that sort of thing.
When I say right before, I mean like half an hour to
Gotcha.
an hour. Yeah, I got
that. That is something that can make you shaky, so that is something to watch out for.
And the only other question is kind of specific to this match. I'm so used to being able to dunk that sneaky clam, like the swoosh did to us. But that stops working after a while, so now I have no idea when to retreat or when to like push forward. And I don't know how to practice playing defensively and retreating without playing actual matches. Is there a way to do that, or is that just VOD reviews and actual matches?
It is something that you kind of have to practice in matches, but what you do is you set goals, like very specific goals for what you're going to do in those matches, and in between matches you check in on yourself and be like, okay, did I do that in that match? Like, what were some times that I did that? And if you don't think you have good enough feedback on whether you did them or not, then you go in VOD review them, and see, okay, did I do it there, or did I not? And then in the next match, you know, you make sure to focus on it more if you didn't. I have a section of the How to Get Out of S Plus video on advantages and disadvantages, which is what I would recommend you go watch to understand when to move up and when to back up. But in general, if you have an advantage, you push up, and if you're at disadvantage, you play to keep yourself safe and get special and be ready for the rest of your team to get in. It's just kind of a numbers advantage thing.
Makes sense.
I also have a video on pushing in Clam Blitz that I definitely recommend. That is one of the more valuable videos I have found for specifically playing that objective. Alright, we should move on to the next VOD reviewee here, because I've got to get a couple of these done before an hour and a half passes. But thank you so much for coming on and letting us look at your gameplay. And now we're going to jump over to talk about Alex Zora.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. I would really have loved to actually play a match on the weapon, because I think that would do a lot of good. I might put out some games in the near future on that weapon on the VOD channel.
Do you think Sploosh could also work as a in-the-walls weapon?
Yes, it does it a little bit differently. The roller goes in for like quick multi-kills and trades because it can't move super quick. The Sploosh goes in not even necessarily to get picks, but more just to zip around really quickly and never get caught. It's a lot more comparable, I would say, to a brush than it is to a roller. Alright, you able to see okay?
The in Discord is a little laggy, but I think that's more on my end than it is on yours.
Okay.
And I might just use the Twitch stream.
Okay. Where do you get your Splatoon merchandise? I don't remember where this shirt came from. It probably wasn't from a particularly good source, because I didn't do a lot of research. I just kind of was like, oh, hey, that's the shirt I want, and then I got it. So, is this a solo queue match, remind me?
Yes, it's a solo queue X rank. I think it's about 1778 or so.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to do this match more because my other three are hovering around 250 or 2050, sorry. So I wanted to try and see what I'm doing wrong for this one.
Okay. Thanks for the raid, SQ Flash. I think we had another raid earlier that I might have missed. From Nate the Great, right? That was an hour ago. I had a mental note in my head to check in on that, and then never went back to that note. My bad, guys. Thanks for the raid. Okay, so comp is pretty solid. We've got a lot of paint. No vulnerabilities there. We have a couple of bombs. We have you on a tri-strike weapon, which is going to be really good for stopping tower. We have a crab, which is going to be good for controlling mid. The bubble is best here because it's going to be able to go on the tower there. So lots of good things there. And we have a little bit of range in the mini, which is all we need because the longest range they've got is a reflex. This would have been a little bit more of a problem if they had like an E-leader or something. Because now there's just nothing to contest it, even like a ballpoint scared out of its range or anything. So it would be pretty dominant then, but nothing too much to complain about there. Let's see how the match starts out.
Do you remember at one point I got pretty tunnel visioned on killing the reflex like a couple times actually?
I would probably paint more here. I'm worried about them like moving around on the right, and if they move around on the right, you having so little paint on the right means that you can't actually stop them. They can kind of just take that space and like get into the corner before you're able to cut them off from it. So you probably want like a rectangle of paint to your right as they're pushing up like this, so that if they try to push in, they're running into your ink and you're able to contest them and actually get around this corner, get down this ramp, get off onto the ground level with them without them being able to shoot at you while you're doing it. Because now they're doing it. Like, see how, I think it was the shot on the right-hand side. Now, if you drop down over the right, it's not safe. They've just kind of taken that space away from you without you being able to do anything about it. And now you're going to get boxed in more. That's really risky because there's the possibility that somebody's underneath the ledge that's like right at your feet. And getting that close to the ledge to throw this bomb, first of all, the bomb is going to go behind them. It's going to go past where they are here, where they're threatening. But secondly, now you've kind of exposed yourself, and they could have just taken shots at you from there. What they're choosing to do instead is to get up onto the ramp while you're looking the other way. And see, now we tried to drop off, and if we'd had that rectangle of ink to our right, they couldn't be doing this. But they're able to do this now because we didn't secure that part of the map earlier. You don't want to just like go out and paint every single piece of the map at the start, because that's just going to take too long, and they're going to get the more important parts for that. But that area there on the right is a really important choke point. You can't let them get through that area for free, because then they have too much they can do to make things painful on the right. And the right side of this map, that's where the tower goes. So that's the only important part of the map, especially if they're going to be in control of the tower for this point in the game. By you being forced to back up this far, that means they now have complete control of the tower path. And so they're going to be able to score for a little while, unless we just stop them here, which fortunately we managed to do. We're not going to be able to hold any longer from here. We've got missiles on us. We're inside an enemy big bubbler, so they can just use that for cover. This is a losing fight if we try to keep it here, but getting that one player and then running away would have been a good plan here, I think. Oh, they fell for the bomb. Because another thing that you could do there, instead of taking the fight and just being hard committed to an engagement on enemy ink, is you were so close to Tri-Strike, just get that pick, drop off the tower, back up, paint the last 2 inches that you need for your Tri-Strike, and then Tri-Strike the tower, and they don't get through the checkpoint. And then you're alive, instead of running into this. Because you kind of had to run into that. There was no other way out.
Try to get the right control here, I think.
When you do have special, this is a small optimization, but you actually generally don't want to paint anything unnecessary, because the more space you leave uninked back there, where nobody's ever going to play, the more special charge you're going to be able to get out of that part of the map. So don't paint too much more. Try to go stealth mode at this point once you've got your special, and see if you can get into a position that they can't see. You really don't want to be spotted by the crab right here. There's really no benefit to it knowing where you are. That bomb is thinking too far ahead. They're only at first checkpoint still. And that's also giving away your position. Now they know not to be looking at the top left. They know to be looking closer where you are. And they're clearing the first check while this is happening. Your team may well be fighting over it. Like, I see a teammate's name over there by the tower. So here, like, yes, we have to be worried about the crab, but we want to at least be pressuring the crab. We want to make it so the crab can't just keep us stuck in our spawn. And we want to be looking at it too, so we know when it ends. It's like now our team went in and tried to stop the checkpoint, and they're all down. And this Tri-Strike's too late, because you're the only person who can possibly follow up on it. You're going to stall it for 3 seconds, or you're going to throw one at it and then get hit with the Trizuka. Might actually be what happens. Yep. So it's a matter of timing, I guess, of spotting when you have the advantage and making sure that you're regrouped with the rest of your team as soon as you do have all of those players back after losing a fight. Because where you put yourself, your team had time to respawn, get back into play, go in for a fight, lose that fight because it was a 3v4, and there was a crab tank out. And then we started to try and engage. And at that point, we were staggering the team. Once your whole team goes down, better to just save the tri-strikes and wait for them to come back. We're getting like out of sync with the rest of the team there. Oh man, and they've got a big bubbler that they're not even popping yet. We're still putting ourselves really, really far back. Like, this is extremely passive. This is like literally the most irrelevant corner of the map you could probably be putting yourself in, except for maybe this part of the enemy side. You want to be like maybe throwing bombs down there, maybe painting the edges of where you feel you're safe so that you can push forward a little further. You don't need to hard commit yet, but right now we're so far away from the enemy team that they get to do whatever they want. We want to at least skirmish. That is, we want to at least engage the enemy team, force them to respond to something so that they're forced to, you know, burn resources or give their positions away. Like, even just getting someone to shoot at you and then running away, that shows your entire team where that player is. And that at least is something. From here, you're putting yourself so far back, you've got a wall in between you and everything that's going on, so you don't even know where the enemy team is. Like, you have no way of collecting information, and when you go back in, now you're going to have to collect that information more quickly, while they've had more time to put paint on the ground, so they can make it harder for you. Like, this isn't a very strong position to take unless you're going to be right up there next to the grates. And like poking at the big bubbler with bombs, for example. Like, that at least would be a way that you'd be able to help your team shred that big bubbler so that they can get back at the tower sooner. But it took us until they'd gone through the whole checkpoint before we went in. And then we need to be going in with that hammer. Hammer went in, our team is engaging. Go in and help them fight. They're going to, you know, push someone out in one direction. If you're there, you can catch that opponent and splat them. Like, this is a great opportunity to be a Slayer and go and pick up some kills because your team is engaging. But if you don't go in with this fight, you know, there's the possibility that they don't win it. There, we do end up helping a bit, like, from a distance there, but we could have been helping from close range and made that more likely to succeed. It ended up succeeding anyway. There's a possibility that it doesn't. What the enemy team could have done there, and I'm going to check from the overhead and see kind of what situation they were in, but just to give an example of how this could have gone differently. So you can see, like, the hammer's going in one direction, and okay, your teammate was actually there to cut off the other side, but let's say the hammer's going in by themselves, because I don't think we could see the dualies at all from where we were at. So it's easy to miss them, you know, to not notice their name is there and that they're helping cut that off. If that other teammate isn't there, what they could just do is play Ring Around the Rosie with the hammer here, and whoever the hammer isn't chasing shoots it from the side or the back, and now it goes down for free. The fact that Funnel Cake goes in here and attacks the direction that the hammer is, you know, the opposite direction for where the hammer is going, is how they get these picks. But notice, like, how far away we are while this fight is developing. Just, like, looking on the macro scale at where we are on the map compared to what's happening. So, like, hammer gets popped here. We get 2 picks. Teammates go in. Like, we actually back up as this fight is engaging. So all that we have range to shoot at is our color ink. So what's the solution here? Because, you know, I've done a lot of talking about, like, why our positioning isn't going to help, but what is it that would help? So first of all, like, when some aggressive special is popped, like the hammer, that's a sign they're gonna go in. They're gonna go do something. Any kind of special that's popped really is often a sign that like your teammates are ready to go in and take a fight. They're not gonna pop a special if the enemy team is just gonna run away from them, or like the enemy team isn't there to use it on. So that's one sign. Another sign is that your team is moving forward. Another sign is like once they get players, once players go down, that's a sign that a fight is happening. A third sign that you're getting here is everything that's around you is your color, which means that you're in a position that's so safe that you can't shoot anything. So you want to move yourself into a position where you can have an impact unless you're like hurt and need to heal. Nice, okay. So then from here, if we're going to be this far back, we want to just play a little bit of support, get control of mid. Again, playing really, really far back. Like, we keep, like, retreating behind cover in positions where our teammates are way out in front of us. Like, if somebody's going to shoot at anybody on your team, it's not going to be at you right now. It's going to be at Caleb or Funnel Cake, because they're the ones who are way up there. They have to go through those teammates before they can get to you anyway. So there's no need for you to be playing around cover. And in fact, playing around cover is hurting you a lot because it's making it so you can't see. Like, a third of your screen's taken up by that right now, so it's really difficult for you to collect information on what you should do next. We want to be getting some paint out further ahead, and I'm betting these are not actually going to... Okay, that third one might disrupt something. But those first two, I don't think there was even anyone close enough for those to hit. And we wouldn't have had a way to know without looking a little bit further ahead. So, in those positions where, okay, we got a couple down, a little bit of a power play right now, we're pushing up and taking space, paint the stuff on the map that your team is going to be using in the next little bit. Like, paint their escape routes through mid. Paint their, like, if somebody runs into Caleb or Funnel Cake, make it so that Caleb or Funnel Cake have paint behind them so they can back up and get back to the safety of the rest of their team. That's the sort of paint that's really going to help you here. And that will help your team move forward, even if you're playing more of a supportive playstyle. A little bit worried about those bombs there. Probably didn't want to drop off the ledge. Okay, we're going for this. Okay, let me back up a little bit, and we'll talk through the kind of decision-making process.
So I think I saw the reflex fire shots that would maybe do that first bomb, and then I decided to. I got like really tunnel vision to go after them there.
Yeah. So bombs going out on either side here. This makes it so that if you stay where you're at, you can't drop to the right or you can't drop to the left because you'll explode from something on either side there, and there will be paint at your feet even if you don't. So from this position, with those bombs there, this kind of forces you backwards. If you run forward, you have no way out. Because if you run forward, again, you try to back up on the right, bomb there. You try to back up on the left, bomb there. Try to back up center, you hit the tower. So dropping in here is a really big commitment. Now, when you do drop in, you drop on the far right. If you're going to engage from there, I would probably just go over the top of the tower or something and like try to go in with a hammer. From here, tower's moving, right? So the top right area does matter in that it's a place where people can shoot at the tower when you're trying to get through first checkpoint. And you do need to clear first checkpoint. So this isn't necessarily a bad play to make in a vacuum. It's just like there's a lot of purple ink there. What you probably want to do is inch your way up first. Like, put a bunch of paint down on the ground on that right-hand side and make them deal with that. Because even if they, you know, don't let you flank, then they're not shooting at the tower. They're shooting at you instead. So that's one way you could help. And then if they do leave it there, that means you get to get closer to them because you've got, you know, the paint in front of you before they spot that you're here. Because they're already, you know, cross-firing you by the time you get there, because you're having to paint through so much enemy ink that it sticks out like a sore thumb. So you do get a trade, and it actually gets your team through the checkpoint. So that's a pretty good outcome, all things considered. Rather than going for that, I would probably have just painted what little I need to in front of me to be able to swim, and just gone for the exact same play Because they don't know that I'm there in the first place. That the paint that you put down would be pretty difficult for them to spot. So like, so you land right here. They might see you landing just from like flying through the sky. That's a possibility. But look at how little in front of them the reflex can see right here. Like, if you paint that little spot that's right below their feet to get around, they're not actually going to notice. So you could just kind of run straight at them. Whereas you fire those shots, now they just back up and they're out of range before you can get your kill time on, even if you do have pretty good aim. But at this point, right side doesn't matter as much. We need to get out in front of the tower. I would probably not be pushing around the left side of the tower. If there was somebody there, they would already have shot at the tower before it came around the corner. At this point, what you're worried about is what's on the right. And from this position back here, you're not in between the tower and anybody who's going to stop it. This might be a good place to launch tri-strikes from, and that would make it so that from back here, you have time to transition from this position where you're relatively inactive in the game to a position where you have more of an ability to move forward, because they can't move forward while your strikes are out, and during that time, you can be moving toward them and getting back in position. So that's probably what I'd do from here. But you can see, like, you being there didn't stop them from stopping the tower. You weren't in between them and the objective. So they just stopped the tower, and then it was a 1v1 between you and the person who stopped the tower. Like, look at the line overhead, and think about, like, where the tower has to move next, and then look at your positioning relative to it. The tower rider is frontlining, essentially, whereas your job as a frontline weapon is to put a defensive perimeter around the tower so that if Alexander here goes after the tower, they're getting shot at before they get there. That's your goal. But because you can see that this way, like, your tower rider is left exposed even though they have two teammates out here, because Caleb's watching a different direction and you're too far behind it. So then that fight happens. That's me checking the map, of course, but that's a time that I definitely would be checking. Spooky.
I do make a habit of that, to check when I come back from a respawn.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So a little spooky with the tri-strikes, and seeing that we have a teammate down, I would be a little bit careful. I probably wouldn't have actually come out in this direction. I probably would have come out to the far right, because from the far right, it's going to take them longer to get there, which gives you more time to set up. And you don't need to worry about them getting through first checkpoint. You don't need to worry about them in all of the space getting up to second checkpoint, because they've already cleared that. So it's not like they're going to get extra points from doing that again. But if you paint up on the far right, which is where the tower has to move through, that gives you and your teammates a pretty good spot to fight from, and you can probably charge up a tri-strike before you have to drop off the ledge and be able to stop the tower with that on its way. But rushing it straight on is risky here if they're looking where they should be on the map. You do get to with this player being down, like, we wanted to have our camera turned backwards a couple of seconds ago, because there could easily be someone else rushing us if we're not careful here. Our back is turned to everywhere that there is an opponent, which means that they could shoot us in the back. So good pick there. At that point, I would probably back up, because at that point, what should be happening, as I've explained earlier, is that there should be frontliners who push up in front of the tower and create a perimeter around the front of it, where if someone walks up to the tower, they're getting shot at before they can stop the tower. That's the goal of every frontline player, and they have a lot of frontline weapons. So against a top-level team, if you make the play that you just made, what's actually going to happen, instead of you splatting someone off the tower, is you're going to run into a 1v3 against all of their frontliners. The frontliners are going to splat you, and then they're going to have someone on the tower behind them. And you would never have actually reached the tower before you were getting shot at yourself. So that didn't happen here. You were able to get the one. But even getting the one, I'm still worried about there being like 3 people right around me ready to trade that back immediately. And the fact that they didn't just immediately turn, that they just kind of ran forward even though they knew that you were right there, that's something that you're not going to see at higher levels of play. Because they just kind of... I don't know what this plan was, honestly. It's like...
Probably what I did the reflex early in the game.
But they didn't have to there, because they could have just stayed back and only fought you. Like, you were in a position where you were kind of surrounded, you had paint behind you, like, there wasn't a way for you to back up. For them, they could have just backed up. They could have just fought you and then retreated. So, that was a little bit of an odd decision. But we have advantage here. That like we got 2 players in that fight, and so the team in general was a little slow to push up with that, but you especially, I would prefer to see you pushing up a little bit and getting some high ground or something and then popping the strikes. This spot on the map becomes a lot less important once you are through the first checkpoint, because if you just move the tower away from this area, all of a sudden those players have to come to you, instead of you being forced to fight through them. So, at that point, I would have just gotten on the tower, maybe thrown a bomb up there to stall for enough time for the tower to move down to the left, and then once you're out of reflex range, they have to come to you, and then you can set up defensively on the left-hand side. This is a wider flank than you had to make to get into this position. And the reason that matters is that it's going to take more time before you're actually stopping the tower. Which costs your team time pushing it back the other way, and makes it so you have fewer opportunities to try again if it doesn't work. Like, from here... probably wouldn't throw that bomb. It's a relatively low likelihood that gets someone, because they're going to be moving to your right side, their left side, and it also gives your position away and what you're looking at. From here, like, instead of going all the way around... let's back it up for a sec. Instead of going all the way around, just paint, like, this area right in front of you, hop up onto the ledge, and then you're eye to eye with the tower rider. Like, you see where it is right there? That's easy range for you to shoot at, and there's not a lot of a reaction to that, especially since they're already going to be looking left.
I think I might have a bit of PTSD in that case, because I do stuff, like, I have done that many times before, and this time I think I just didn't.
Because what you could do is, like, you jump up onto that ledge and start shooting them, and then if it's not working, you can just drop off the ledge and you're immediately behind cover again, and they can't hit you back. So you still have an escape route from that way. If you drop down on the left side at this point, you don't have an escape route. There's no way out of that, so you're really hard committed. And also, one risk right now is that the tower is moving away from you. So as time goes on, you're going to get further and further out of range. So you want to take the shots while you're close to the tower, so that as it moves away, you're still in range while you're finishing that splat. Also, that player clearly didn't see that you were here until you shot at them. So don't shoot at them until you actually have your aim on. Like, we start taking the shots when they're at a pretty weird angle off the ledge there. So, like, right here, they're shooting in another direction, not looking at you. Swim around, drop behind them, paint their escape route back towards you first, then shoot at them.
I think that was my game plan, but I rushed it.
The big difference between what I'm saying is, like,
Yeah,
you need to
like,
not shoot
you wanted me to just
nearly
go
as
around,
quickly.
not shoot at him first. You wanted me to go around and then try to shoot him in the back, like
Yeah.
like the rollers.
Yeah, exactly. Just swim all the way, even behind the little black block to your left, and get that far behind them, and then just paint your way forward towards their team. Because here they have cover to work with. Once they have cover to work with, now it's an even fight, basically. And they have one-shot potential, especially at close range. Right now, we're firing shots and throwing bombs from the same position our teammate was just at and that our opponents were shooting at them at. We want to take an angle that they're not going to be looking at and like throwing bombs at, because this bomb is here, we're going to need to take extra time to reposition. Whereas if they throw this bomb here and we go up onto the top right to throw our bomb, now we don't get pushed out of the way and we have the possibility of being able to move in sooner. They're kind of like bottlenecking us in a situation where we could be flanking. Okay. A little bit more thorough than I probably would have been on the painting, because we saw that everyone who was on the tower dropped to the left, but we do get it done. This is probably more thorough painting than we need. What we need to do is clear the area in front of the tower. Hmm?
Doing that special thing again, right? Like using it, like painting when I have special again.
Yeah, you're right. And also, like, what matters in tower control is the area that's in front of where the tower is moving. Right now, the tower is moving back to mid. So the area in front of the tower there is what you want to control. You're controlling the area that's behind the tower, which means that the enemy team just gets to walk right back up to the tower again. If you control the area in front of where the tower is moving, they don't get to walk back up to the tower. The tower keeps moving back to mid, and we stand a chance of potentially pushing out again. Good aim there. Unfortunate that they catch you there. That was a good flank on their part. There's slightly different movement we probably could have used to win that, but I won't stress about it. We are 2 down here. So here's the thing. We have only 2 players up. If you go down now, we're going to be staggered until the end of the game. If you keep yourself alive and farm for special and wait for the rest of your teammates to be back, now when you push in, you'll have more players and you'll have a tri-strike that will definitely get them off the tower. So it's safer to wait from here than it is to go in. Now we're staggered and probably will continue to be until the game ends. So now you're out of play, and you're going to be out of... We need to be rushing the tower. We cannot take a roundabout way with this little time left on the clock. You want to make sure that you're there in case everybody else on your team goes down or something. And they actually did go down, and because there was a player off to the right who was shooting at them shooting at them closer than the ones that you were looking at in mid. So that was who we needed to focus on to keep the tower safe. Again, it's just whatever's right in front of the tower. And there, it was that junior who was down to the right, not the players who are out there in mid. So I think that general rule of, like, look at what's directly in front of where the tower is moving, I think that's going to help you a lot with your positioning, getting yourself into the right places. It's going to help you in Rainmaker as well, and in Clamblitz. Clamblitz and Rainmaker are a little trickier because you don't know what path the objective is going to move on for sure, but you know it's one of a couple, and you can usually rotate between both fast enough once your opponents commit. So either way, that's going to help a lot there. But I would also look at the how to get out of S plus advantages and disadvantages section again. And especially when you have advantages, make sure that you're not behind the objective player. Make sure that you're between the objective and the enemy team all the time, because that's your job as a frontliner. Your job is to be the first player in, the first penguin off the iceberg.
I do think that I personally could use a little bit more knowledge, or better on, like, keeping an eye on the HUD and seeing how many people are down, how many specials are up. I have a personal problem with that. I would get, like, 2 tunnel vision of what's happening in front of me more than what's on the HUD.
One other thing to train yourself to see is the X's that appear elsewhere on the screen when someone goes down. Because that is a kind of constantly updating source of information for the numbers advantage as well. Like, I just immediately, as soon as a teammate goes down, I'm like, there's an opponent over there, and we're a player down. I probably need to play a little bit safer unless I can trade that back. Or like, this is where a fight is happening right now, and now I know to turn my attention to that. Like, that gives me a lot of information really quickly, so training yourself to spot those is also very helpful. It's not necessarily a bad thing to be painting. Like, I went through all of this, like, with, you know, in the back of my head thinking, okay, but what if they're more of a supportive play style? What if they're, you know, playing this more like a Neo Splash kind of thing? What if they're more of a Splattershot Junior player, you know, coming into this game and liking the Splat Bombs or something? But even then, any of those weapons are going to have to fight at some point with the main weapon. They might farm for special first, and they might paint a lot, but that painting and those specials have to be in service of the fights that are happening on the map. And if you can't see those, if you're too far away from those to join them, if the paint isn't helping the teammates who are taking them, then you're still removing yourself too far from play. That's, you know, there's keeping yourself safe, and then there's putting yourself so far back that you can't impact the game, and you're basically putting your teammates in 3v4s. So that's what I would say for this match, and it might be something different for another match. You know, sometimes those sorts of things fluctuate depending on the day or what somebody told you recently. So rather than being like, I need to play less passive and going in and feeding, because that's what's always going to happen if I tell someone that, what you need to be looking for is the information that tells you when to push up. And to be spotting that more often and getting in the right position relative to the objective when you do.
The thing I like is that I like the range or like the power of Pro, but Pro being not amazing. I kind of go towards more the T-Tech or shot, and then having the paint ability too, because when I play solo, I tend to get a lot of people that don't paint for the team at all, or even for themselves.
Gotcha.
So I guess that's why I become more like tunnel vision on trying to make sure we got enough paint on the map. And then another thing is too, like how you're saying I should have like the line of paint between me and the enemy. It's like I feel like sometimes if I don't have the paint on behind me and then in front of me, then I will have the people that are on the other team get one splat, and then they get to push through all the ink that we put down ourselves. So I guess that is something I'll have to work on myself.
What Anarchy Nova is actually not necessarily a bad idea for the sort of thing you're trying to do there. This would be something you couldn't push up nearly as well with, but the inkjets would kind of compensate if you wanted to learn that. But
I did mess around with the weapon in open and had a good amount of success, but I didn't care for the kill time myself, so
yeah,
I kind of left that out.
Totally fair. So one thing to bear in mind is, like, let's say like this area right here isn't painted, but let's say we just wiped the enemy team. I'm not going to spend my time painting this, because this isn't where the fight is going to happen next. The fight is going to happen way up, like, here, because the amount of time that it took me to swim here, they were all just respawning. And so we get to now set up in this kind of position and paint here. And yes, all of that back there may not be painted super well, but my teammates, as they push up, are going to fill some of that in for special, if nothing else. So we'll still have escape routes. And this is where we really need the ability to maneuver, is much further forward. So that's why, like, it's important to move up here, because if you don't move up quickly, in especially Splatoon 3, where all of the maps have pretty significant choke points, you end up just having to fight more to be able to score the same amount of points. You end up letting them get too far out on the map. And it's like that to an extent in every game, but it's the worst in Splatoon 3, because there are no ways to bypass choke points. You generally do have to just push the enemy team out. So it's really important to get out in front of them when you do have the opportunity, so that you have to take as few fights as possible. And that's probably something I'll need to make a video about. It's something that FLC did a video about a while ago, but he doesn't post on YouTube, and so there are probably a lot of people who never saw that. So, any other questions?
I do have like one question to say. So you're saying that no Anaki Nova could work as like a mid-range, but I kind of like want a bit more mid-range Slayer, but the
Mid-range Slayer,
I mean,
you're probably looking at like Nautilus or Bucket.
I actually picked up Nautilus myself, but I chose to do the T-Tech that round.
Yeah, and like that works in a supportive playstyle if you're trying to play more like a midliner, where you're throwing a lot of bombs, painting a lot more, using the strikes to go in. But at some point, you are going to have to fight with the T-Tech, especially since you're using a T-Tech instead of a Neo Splash. Like Neo Splash also has to fight, but it's more of a supportive playstyle. The T-Tech, you're taking it because it's got a 3-shot. It's got a faster kill time. Because the Neo Splash is going to paint more, and that bomb is going to be more effective at longer range. The T-Tech's bomb is better for fighting close up. So there's some trade-offs there to consider. I would also consider something like Dually Squelchers, something like Splatana Wiper, or Splatana Stamper. Those are kind of the main weapons you're seeing in that sort of role right now.
And then another question is about competitive play, actually. I have been wanting to get into it, but I didn't know where to look or to start. And is it just like as simple as sign up for Low Ink, and then I could be like a free agent, and they'll sign me up with some other free agents?
So what you will want to do is, first of all, I'm going to send you, and I'll put this in chat as well, a link to a Discord server called Inkopolis Crosswalk. Inkopolis Crosswalk is a Discord server full of other Discord servers, all of which are used by the competitive community. So there it is in stream chat, and I'm going to DM it to you on Discord as well. And this has, like, a lot of the community resources. Not completely all of them, but, like, a lot of the big public ones. And this way, you'll be able to get in touch with, like, all of those other places and get a lot more information on more tournaments than I can kind of plug in this segment. Low Ink is not a bad tournament at all to go to. It's probably not the very first one I would try, because the people who win Low Ink are still up in like Div 4 level. Like Div 4 knocking on the door of Div 3 is usually where you start to see teams that are really making runs at that tournament. And so that level of play is going to be very challenging for a first-time player. You also have options like Freshwater Shoals, which is for relatively new players. You have Launch Point, which is like X-rank players who are starting to get serious and are just getting into their first kind of pickup scrims and that sort of thing. There are a whole bunch of low-level tournaments, like tournaments where they will ban higher-level players so that you're not just going to get murked by Starburst when you try to play and be like, well, I learned nothing from that, except that, wow, they're really good. So there are a lot of different events that cater to specifically that audience, but Inkopolis Crosswalk is a great place to find them. I would especially look into Sendu's competitive feed, where tournament organizers will post that their tournaments are announced. And then you can just see all of the tournament announcements and look for one that has a skill cap and put together like a pickup team for that. There are also some draft tournaments. Under Pressure does a juniors draft, which has been a great experience for the players that have gone through it, myself included. When I was handicapping myself with a Styx H3 with -5 sensitivity, that didn't go over super well. And so I did belong in a tournament that was capped that low with those kinds of settings. So you've got a bunch of options there. If you have questions about any individual ones, I would just go in and like contact like a server admin or something to get some more information.
All right. And was it the tournament that you did, where the one that we just said you were handicapped in? Isn't that like
that was Under Pressure Juniors
A+,
draft.
A+ or lower, right?
That might have been it. So I don't know if you're too high for that.
I would be
Too high?
at,
Okay,
like,
yeah.
+2.
Launch Point might be a good place to look into for you, though.
Alright.
So I think that's catered to right around the level that you're at. So.
Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
for your time.
Yeah. Have a good one.
You too.
We're going to hop right over to Ari. You here, Ari?
Yep.
Hello. I'm gonna get the screen set up. And where was it? There it is. Okay, so this is from a scrim. And you should be able to see that okay?
Oh, I should let you know this replay or this recording is not from my point of view. So you might want to use the replay code.
Oh, okay. So this is just so we can hear comms.
This is just comms, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I will definitely run off the replay code then.
It's the same game though.
If there's something we need to check, then I will definitely go there. But yeah, we need to see from your perspective because there's a lot we're gonna miss otherwise. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go check because I might have dinner that I can eat while I do this. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
In the meantime, though, we have dogs, and that includes some new ones. Okay.
Did you get dinner?
I have foods. Oh, this is. Let's zoom that part out a little bit. Let's also go back to this. There I am. It is me. Hello. Okay. Sorry for the wait there, but I have food now, which is important. I need that to live. So.
Food is very important.
Okay. So this is a steady team, or is this just a pickup?
No, this is a steady team.
Okay. And
Some
we're
of them are
running...
actually watching the stream.
Hello to those of you in the stream. So we've got... Okay. Very similar, like, last resort style of comp. Except instead of a Stamper, we've got a Dually Squelchers. Okay. I see it. And you are on the Wiper.
Yeah.
So this feels like a comp where you're going to want to play on the aggressive side. Because your Zap is going to be painting for Tacticaler. And then once they get it, your Blast is going to just kind of feed in with it. And so you're going to want to be able to dive with that when you can. But it looks like you're going for early missiles, which makes some sense. So we'll wait for specials, but then we're going to want to kind of just like hold forward at them. I see no reason to be waiting on the missiles. On this map, they're going to be lined up, so you're going to hit all 4 of them. If you wait this long, though, they might get specials out first. So better to just use yours while you have it. Because the cooler, you know, is coming soon. Like, we want to keep the pace of play up. Now that we've all ran and grabbed the cooler, they know where we all are. They're starting to move forward. The missiles are a little less safe. We can't, like, get them all in one spot. I'd say just pop those.
So you wouldn't recommend like waiting for a cooler?
You
Most
wait
of the
so
time?
long. Let me put it this way: you wait so long that your S Blast dies before they're even in the air. Like these needed to be fired
that's
like a
true.
good 5 seconds earlier in order for your S Blast to actually follow up and get value out of them. So,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I would say like when you've got a good time to fire the missiles, when you're like, I'm going to be able to get a bunch of them on the enemy team and we're going to be able to push in with them, then go for it. And the cooler can come in like as we push up with the missiles. Like you saw how soon it got used. But like the hesitation there means that we lose a player before anything happens. And so now it's 2v3 and we don't really want to be running in. I'm surprised that that goes well because this is a 2v3. But we do seize control here. Okay, I was pretty scared there. You want to be isolating that engagement into a 1v1 instead of the 1v2 that you were in.
Okay.
So right here, you've got them to your front left, and then you've got everybody else to your front right. You don't want them both to be able to shoot at you at once. You either drop off the right side and only fight the player on the right, or you drop on the left and only fight the player on the left. Because otherwise you're risking them both hitting their shots, which doesn't happen, and you going down. If they'd had both hit their shots, then you would go down. It's a Jules raid! Hi there, Jules. Pardon me eating food, but I'm going out and hanging out with my parents after this is done, and so I need to eat and do this at the same time so I can be zoomy and fast and get that done in time. I am not super huge on the Zap being this far forward on the tower. You never want the Tower Rider to be a frontliner. And not in that you don't want them to be a frontline weapon. You don't want them to be the furthest player forward. You don't want them to be the first person that the enemy team can shoot at. And then putting the cooler here means that you kind of have to approach that dangerous position to get it, which isn't the worst thing, because if you're grabbing it, you're probably going to be running forward anyway, but this isn't a sustainable tower push, and we do immediately lose players to trying it. There, your goal is not to fire back at them. Your goal is just to paint for yourself so that you can run away. Um, I would say there you probably want to save the missiles. If you're gonna use them, you want to use them while your blast is still up really far forward. But now that they're backing up, nobody's gonna follow up on this because they're the only person you've got out there. So with them not in position to do anything, they're just gonna dodge the missiles and keep going. So it's either you want to, like, you always want there to be follow-up with the missiles. If there's no follow-up with the missiles, there's not much of a point. There's very little that it's actually going to do for you. Maybe it helps pop the Rainmaker shield sometime, but unless there's someone who's going to be actively pushing those opponents while the missiles fall, the missiles are not worth firing. Even if that person is you, but you weren't in position to do so either. Okay. I like the safe positioning on the tower. There were a couple of places where I personally had a read on where that player was going. Like, they did some pretty predictable movement there. And so I would have probably anticipated where they were going to be and put shots there. But you kept yourself safe, knowing that the rest of your team was going to push them out, and that all you had to do is stay alive. So that works out. Probably would have stayed on the tower, because there's nothing really threatening you much from there once that player leaves.
I think there might have been a bomb because I just saw something explode.
Maybe. I don't know. Is someone? There's nobody on the tower. We're not gaining any points for all the time that we've got here. I would not consider this worth getting off the tower for. Especially since it like resets and starts moving backwards, so we lose even more time. Like now, this player, they would not have had time to get up here if you'd been on the tower and been like watching them come in. But because we took the time to go all the way back and do that and then come back to the tower, and the player who was on the tower went down, like they had this really big window where there was no one watching right, and they just kind of got in here for free. So yeah, I think that the beacon there, if you're going to put a beacon, you could just put it on the tower. But in that position where you have the advantage, push the tower as far as you can get it. Your goal is to clear checkpoints as early as you possibly can, like in as few fights as possible. With an inkjet out, you want to just tap the tower and keep it there, and then just get back behind cover until it's done. Instead of trying to challenge it and score points in the meantime, just stay alive, let them waste the resource, and then try again when they don't have the resource anymore. Yeah, this is exact same deal that you did with the Trizuka there, is the game plan you want for the inkjet. This isn't so much on you as it is, I would say, on your teammates. The right side should not be completely free for them to just walk through like this and cut off your escape route. If somebody's moving over there, you want your teammates to at least be calling it, but you really want someone to be watching it. Like, if everyone gets on the left side like this, they get to encircle you. If you spread out more, then you're harder to surround, and you can still help each other in fights. So, not having someone watching that right side was a mistake on the team's part.
Okay, gotcha.
Nice. At this point, with two of them going down like that, creating a 4v2, I'm looking for a jump in. I'm not trying to swim the rest of the way. I want to get there faster, because it's probably going to be safe where I land. Same thing that I was talking about before, that, like, your job in tower control is to keep the enemy team from ever getting to the tower. Well, in order to do that, you need to control space in front of the tower, because the tower is going to keep moving forward, and you need to keep moving the enemy team back. So any time that you're spending behind the tower is time that you're spending kind of out of play, unless you can reach with a very long-ranged weapon behind the tower. And that's really only something you're going to do if you're like an anchor weapon. So for you, even if you are going to be playing more of a supportive role, you don't want to be behind it pretty much any time. Let me take a look at that from the overhead. Yeah, I didn't think there was really anybody in position to follow up on those. So again, we've got these missiles going out, and sure, we hit all 4 of them, but we're 2 down. So unless you're going to go in and get like a triple with this, not much is going to happen here, I don't think. Yeah, like, this is a really great illustration, this play right here, of what happens if the tower is frontlining. So like, missiles go out and we start pushing in with them, but there's nobody else in front of the tower. It's just you, and you, instead of going in to follow up on these missiles and get picks, you're getting on the tower. So they back up, missiles fall, missiles don't splat anybody, nobody gets splatted because of missiles. So now they're just gonna re-engage, and like, there's nothing to stop them from getting to the tower. There is nobody creating any kind of defensive perimeter around the tower. And so this is just the easiest fight for them to win in the world. They just all collapse on you as 3. And yes, you had teammates coming in soon, but they weren't there yet. And with you pushing the tower that far, like, you can just see how there was nothing your teammates could do to help you. Oop, wrong one. So, that happened. With every super jump, you want to be looking at enemy ink that's going down and consider how quickly of a rate it is taking up space. Like, how fast is that opponent moving forward? By the time you got there, they'd made it to your super jump. This is, you probably should have been dead twice over at this point. Let's take a look back at how this develops. So teammates on left, we're trying to help them, but they've already gone down. Painting a little bit. I'm not sure about dropping down, at least not visibly.
The other one on the right to me actually just dropped, so I think that's why it dropped down too.
Gotcha. Because from here, you can still fight this player that's right here to your left, because they're going to go after your teammate. You could have just kept your high ground there and taken the fight from here. Going after tower is pretty unrealistic given how much control they have around the base here. Because, like, let's look for a second for contrast from the play that we just made trying to push the tower at the play they're making trying to push the tower. Look at where their teammates are compared to the tower right now. They are a wall in between you and the tower. That's how you always want this to look while you're pushing. And that wall gets a little bit, shaken. You work your way through a hole in it, but look at where you're at right now. You're surrounded by 3 players again. And this is when you get swarmed and lose the engagement unless you... What? How? This is something that shouldn't be happening. There are definitely
I kind of
multiple...
am just a little slippery sometimes.
So, like, the first thing that should happen here is this player to your left should splat you. The second thing that should happen is this ballpoint should splat you, with help from their teammate to the right. This third thing that should happen is you should get shot in the back right here by the wiper behind you. And then the fourth thing that should happen is that the ballpoint splats you there. And none of this actually happens. Until now. Nope, they missed their shots then. Okay, now they get you. that was probably about 4 or 5 different times that you should have been splatted, which is why I'm like, oh wow, that worked, didn't it? But you staying alive,
Not
and
realistic.
while you shouldn't expect that to work in every situation, I do like that your teammates are following up with this. That you staying alive created a situation where they were able to pile on the teammates on the opposing side who were turning to look at you. Like, if you're going to dive in like this, that is exactly the way that the team needs to play it, to use the dive as a distraction to get other picks. Like, yes, you went down, but your teammates got 2 players in exchange for that, so it was actually worth it in the long term. Again, not saying that I would expect that to work normally. If you could, count on that sort of thing working, then it's good. It's just, I don't think you can count on it working.
Yeah, probably not yet. And then,
I think it is going to become more difficult
your
for
opponents get.
Right. I was going to say, the more the higher technical skill your opponents have, the sooner that you're going to get shredded for trying to make this play. So I would say that this is more of a play that you're going to see working at earlier levels than once you get further and further in competitive. But the follow-up on the back end of it from your team is great. That is something that you will see at higher levels. From here, you don't want to be on tower. 2 reasons. Number 1, inkjet. Number 2, bridge on the left of you is completely painted pink. So if you're going to go over here, you want to take care of that first. Otherwise, you're going to have people dropping down on top of you. Another reason you don't want to be on is that you've lost a player recently, and so you're outnumbered. And from here, because we've stayed on for this long, even though we did end up getting off, the enemy team knows we're here now, and is close enough to us that we now have to fight them. They know our position, they know we're dropping into enemy ink, it's just a little too easy for them. What I would want to do right now is get the rest of this special... Ooh, oh no. That was a really unfortunate Zuka. We were sitting on top of each other, both got clipped by it. Definitely back up at this point. Just keep yourself alive, get that special. And do not make yourself known until it's time to use it. Okay, so we've just lost the missiles twice. Those are a really powerful tool for getting us back in, especially on this map. Getting an opportunity to use them twice and not being able to use it is a pretty big loss. So they're going to get checkpoint and more. That was really dangerous because you had your back turned to the enemy team for so long. Probably want to at least be swimming around the corner instead of continuing to mash ZR around the corner, just so you don't spend as long with your back turned. Also, left side is not as important at this point because the tower now has to move right for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to keep in mind. Nice, we've got that. 2 players down, 3 players down. We probably want to be on the tower. You can paint what you need to from the tower, but we want it to be moving so that it's as far forward as possible before they respawn. We've only got, 1 more chance to make this happen. So we want that chance to be, pushed up and accelerated as quickly as we can. We probably want to pop these missiles relatively soon, once our teammates can get pushed up there, because what we really can't allow to happen is for them to have strikes ready to go when the tower is at a checkpoint. We need to get this T-Tech splatted once, so that they can't just stop the tower for free. It seems like there was a little bit of a miscommunication there. When you're launching missiles, that should be a go, go, go button for everybody else on the team. And it looks like, if anything, they're backing up. So maybe it wasn't called on the comms that you used missiles, or maybe you called it, but they didn't do anything with it. But, once the missiles are out, they should be ready to just sprint forward. what I would probably do is, like, say that you have missiles before you're going to use them and let them know, like, you know, missiles ready, so that they get in position to start being ready to move up. But, like, these missiles are going to fall harmlessly and do nothing. We didn't even take all of mid for this, so now we have to deal, like, missiles should make it so that we're at least pushed up to the enemy sponge, and that we've got people on their top left. That will get us clear so that we can clear the second checkpoint as long as our teammates stay alive up there in those positions. But we're having to fight for this top right area, which is something the missiles should have helped us clear. If the missiles aren't going to help us clear these choke points, then what are they doing for us? Yeah. So it was the lack of a team push at the end there. The fact that the missiles went out, nobody went in. That one player went in, nobody else went in. The reef slider went in, it was about to die, and the tower got splatted. Like, we were all in like 3 different places on the map there with nobody actually available to follow up on what anyone else was doing. And in that stage of the game, the objective should be pretty clear. It should be like, we need to get out in front of the tower, keep them away from the tower long enough for us to be able to score these points. Same kind of objective stuff that I was talking about in the oh, that's for this, in the previous VOD reviews there, where here, I'll really quickly pull up Sunday.ending/plans. I'm gonna have to go pretty soon, but I want to show really quickly kind of what the idea is here now that I can draw stuff. And this is all in the What Am I Doing tower control video as well to look over. But here's this, here's this, here's this. And we just have to switch this over to here. Okay. Okay. So, tower first has to clear checkpoint here. Where are the places on the map that the enemy team is going to shoot at the tower from? From here, from here, from here. If they're over here, then you're not on the tower yet. So you don't really, factor that into your game plan. You're worried about, you have the tower here, and you have enough control of at least this kind of space. What is it you need to move the opponents out of if you're going to be able to push the tower? It's here, it's here, it's here. These are the places you're going to have to clear. So, when you use specials, you use them to get the opponents out of these places. And one special by itself is not going to do that, but a special plus 3 players running forward at them, so somebody jumps across from the tower to clear this area, somebody dives through here, somebody clears this area out, somebody just pushes up and gets into their walls like this. Like, these kinds of plays need to be happening with the missiles. That's what the missiles are there to enable, to give you the information you need to tell people where their targets are, and to make those targets have to move so that when the player gets here, they can just shoot at them for free and get rid of them, because you're at a disadvantage if you're pushing onto enemy ink. Like, you're trying to take over their turf. So this is a point in the match where you need overwhelming firepower to make it so that they have to move, and by the time you actually approach them, they're like with their back turned or their side turned to you, and this is an easier pick. So with the missiles going out, there needs to be at least 2 people in position to do something like this. Pretty much every time that you're using those. Unless maybe you see 3 people all clustered in one spot and you think you individually could push them and get 1 or 2 of them out of it. There are some use cases where you can be a little bit more tactical and less strategic with it, but most of the time that's sort of the play you're looking for, especially since if you missile from here, your field of view can be most of the map. And so you turn this just slightly to this direction, and if there are 3 people coming out here trying to stop you, they're all getting missiled. And now there's missiles all here, missiles all here, missiles all here. You can see how this becomes a mess very quickly. And throw your teammates in there to clean up after that. That's what that play is there to do. It's not there, to be used when you're not going to add all of this extra pressure on top of it. Because missiles don't kill people by themselves. They splat people when you have additional pressure that's taking away their escape options.
Right, that makes sense.
And then general game plan, like I said, is you're removing people from the places where they can attack the tower. And while we can talk about individual places on the map, we could go through every single map and talk about all 16 of them and where on the tower, path you need to clear. But just think about it like you're playing a stealth game and the tower is a guard, and you're trying to keep this vision cone around the tower clear. Anybody who gets into this cone needs to go to jail right away! Exclamation mark above your head. So player gets up here. Oh, they're getting shot at right now. That's what has to happen there. And to create that, you need your frontliners in positions like these so that they are stopping the enemy team before they get up there. And I illustrated that by pointing to the other team, and you notice these positions look awfully similar to what the other team was doing when they pushed the tower further into your base. So, you have any other questions?
This is kind of more of a question about like mindset. But I was wondering if you knew anything about like how to stop comparing yourself to your teammates all the time.
For one thing, you're playing a different role, so you're not going to be completely comparable. You shouldn't be hitting the same KA numbers as your teammates do. If it's something mechanical that's making it so that you feel like you're regularly getting outperformed, then set a mechanical goal. Like, instead of focusing on the results, instead of focusing on the W or the L, instead of focusing on I'm doing better or worse, focus on what it is in the game that you want to do better. It's like, all you can do to catch up to them is learn and practice. So the focus should not be on relative performance. It should just be on what can I learn from this. And that's how you're going to catch up the fastest, by not thinking about that. So if you just think about like what your particular improvement goals are, then you can rest assured that you are doing the absolute most you can, as long as you are making a disciplined effort to pursue those goals.
Okay. Thank you. I also wanted to say my team got like a session from you a few months ago, and I know you probably don't remember us because you do a million of them, but it really helped us improve. And we're still together like as a team. So I just want to say thanks.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to hear that. I'm glad that you found it to be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask away. But that's all I've got.
Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you again so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, we made it. Thank you to all of our VOD reviewees for being willing to come up on a Discord call and have their video watched by hundreds of people and hear me criticizing them, in some cases, pretty strictly. That takes a certain amount of bravery, and I do appreciate that. Thank you to everybody for watching. I do really need to go because I'm seeing Indiana Jones with my parents, which is important. So, we're going to go and raid out...
I hope you have a good time.
Thank you. We're going to go and raid out to Milana. Milana is another competitive player, member of a team called Element R, and one of the more prolific streamers in the Splatoon community. Also a teacher, fun fact. It tends to be a pretty good skill set as it turns out for streaming. For those of you who are looking for more of me, here are my links. If you're interested in the Tuesday VOD reviews, you find me on the Discord server and DM me from there. If you're interested in paying for a lesson, then you go to Medify. And I also have a Patreon there if you're interested in being able to nominate the comps we play on Silly Comp Sundays. Either supporting me on Patreon or being a YouTube member is the way you get that. I would love to post on TikTok, but my account is suspended and they won't tell me why. So I'm still waiting on that to come back, but everything else there is live. And so you can check that out from there. But let's go say hi to Milana, everybody. School's out in 10 seconds. So I always forget about this countdown. I wish you could just click raid now and it would actually raid, but whatever. Okay, bye!